Oh, I'm doing something different. Samina, the island. I had said for this video, I'm going to save my viewers the hassle and give them clean sound. But with this heat, I wouldn't want anyone to know I'm made of paraffin wax. So the fun stays on. It's been so long since I did this. Oh my god, I have the jitters. But we move. What can we do? Did you miss me? The only way I would know is if you like this video. How else would I know? I'm doing something different. You know, your viewership means everything to me, because why am I doing this? Even though I have no problem watching myself. This is your first time. Good for you. But if you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. Wow, even after being so silent for so long. Don't worry. Well wishes in the form of your like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed is what will suit my heart to stay. I have no problem being here, by the way. I love it. OMG. Am I speaking to myself? No. This is a film history analysis channel. I love movies and series from the 20th century and animation. If those are things that interest you, you might like my page. Today though, since it's a special time, I decided to do something special. Today's episode is not an AS1 animation station. It's not a vintage viewing one. VV, hashtag VV on my page. On my channel, jeez. I'm in the spirit of Christmas. I had worn a coat, you know. Thank God the winters don't exist where I am. I don't think I can survive them. 20 degrees Celsius, 19 degrees Celsius. That is the coldest ever. Like, I am shivering wearing 3 jackets and 2 pairs of socks and gloves. So I love that weather because it's not an aesthetic I get to explore that much, because there's no way I'm wearing a sweater where I'm from. Unless it's June or July. Now I go home, I live in robes, heavy asking jackets, because you know it is the season. But right now we are experiencing the hottest time of the year and I love it. This is my ideal temperature. Like, I like it hot and wet. Very many innuendos and we are not even like through Act 1. I'm sorry, I don't even know how they're coming up. Like, if you know me, I don't really plan things the way they go. I just, another issue. But this, okay, I don't know. These are things that will interest the people that like me, the people that like this channel, the people that just like me, yeah, you know. Samina's besties. I have, you know, I've been trying to get criticisms from my friends in the film industry, like about how I should change up things or make things for the better with what I have, you know. And there's been an issue about script, and this person, who is my dear friend by the way, suggested I use AI for my scripts. Those are taking off my gloves and smacking you across the face kind of comments. I operate on a stream of consciousness kind of way. Like, I don't like to plan things too much because I believe I'm ending up being inauthentic. It's not really that, but that's just how I feel, you know. So I tried, and I hope it comes across in this episode. Oh my god. How have you been? Happy holidays. Which is your favorite holiday? I think I said in another video, I live holiday to holiday. But let me stop. Why am I so into, like, I'm catching up with my friends. I'm sorry if you're a new visitor and you're like, what's all this about? I know it's not related to the topic at hand, but here this is more of a conversation, kind of documentary kind of channel. It's less spitting out the facts. The facts are there. You just now have to like sieve them through a discussion with your long lost friend, me. Today I want us to talk about one particular queen. Not me. I'm an empress. Delulu. Empress Delulu. She was actually an empress as well. And this is her world. And we are living in it. Let me not mention the name because I'm afraid of libel, but I don't know how I can be sued by an ancient historical artifacts. Artifact as in ghost in this case. So this woman has the source of River Nile and Eden's personal water source named after her. Like, how powerful is that? There's so many other rivers in Mesopotamia, or why am I shouting? I've drank a lot of coffee. And also, you know, being just a little rusty because I've not done this in a while. You see this thing, this one. If you have this thing around your hometown or anything, it is like a pure symbol of her rain still raining. I was wondering, how do I do this? Oh, okay. I'm cool enough. Now I'm cold, so luckily for a couple of minutes we can have perfect sound quality despite the flora and fauna behind me. Or is it behind you? There we go. So this young girl didn't even know she would end up being queen. It was completely random because whoever was like in succession passed on. All of a sudden, she's thrust into that spotlight, and it wasn't even for long. Oh my god, it's so hot. It's close to 29, I'm sure, even 30, which is okay if I'm not like with so much makeup and so many outfits. This is Dera weather, like. So, what is I saying? The monarchy she found was a very kinky monarchy. Generations of nobility without having any restrictions, moral restrictions from strict religious codes. One of her best experiences was finally experiencing it. And she realized she actually really liked it. A huge number of children proves that, so that I don't be accused of calling an imperialist. horny. I'm trying to look for a better word, but it's not coming. Oh my god. So that ended up being one of her worst experiences when the obvious outcome comes out of it. Where am I going? I'm going into the juicy bits without like expanding. I feel like I have to expand further, but no, I don't believe my crowd is like the crowd of people who really don't know the nitty-gritty of the facts. So I'm probably just adding onto my favorite kind of people's knowledge with this. She couldn't be prevented from siring, because that is like the number one function of a female monarch of almost all societies. That prompted the search for birth control and also easing of childbirth. Most of the practices are actually still from that era that go on right now, that are pretty gorish without having to be, unajua, but it's because of the lack of update of methods and procedures, or rather lack of scientists willing to pursue that passion of re-evaluating these practices. Okay, Sawa, you have the foundation of the story. It's pretty long, sindio. Now I'm trying to think in tidbits, because yes, that's the title of this episode, but because that's also another point of correction I was given as you get to the point. Excuse me, if you want to get the point, go read a book. Or even more, a research paper, so that you can get the points and nothing but the points. Who suffered more from the lack of proper knowledge and the little knowledge that was applied because of the special situation, being like this is Queen of Britain and other countries, including ours, like the one I'm from, was her property in one time or another. Yeah. The first daughter. So the first daughter got a really huge dose of morphine as she was giving birth, that she ended up blacking out. Those were the sciences of the time. And what happened, the tug of war during a birth of a woman who is not conscious brought a slight disability on the side of this particular boy that was born. So this is our queen's grandson. Then the child, because of something that cannot be fixed by money, grew with an extreme insecurity because of that disability of what happened during his birth, which left him very angry. You can understand why. And unsure of himself because he was constantly being emotionally and verbally abused by his immediate family because of his disability. This guy ends up being, because again we are talking about this particular institution is very inbred, so this guy ends up being the Kaiser of Germany. Guess at what time? during World War One. And if you know from my previous videos, that's my favorite of the world wars. That statement doesn't make sense unless you're a history fan. He was cruel, and he said like there is no way he's not being an Axis power, and he drove his people who he really didn't have a connection to, because he was a noble. I think I have to say this disclaimer: I don't have any issues with royalists, because to each their own, but I can't be one, even though I'm elitist. On account of being an African woman. Has that statement ever been uttered in the history of the world? Like at this time? Not in the 1800s, not in the 1700s, not even in the 1900s, but at this time. Being an African and being female feels like such a blessing. But it could be a dose of self-love. This guy drove his people into the mud completely, and you know, in the end, he ended up abdicating. I think now, from this to the Weimar Republic, I think if maybe there was maybe a trial of the aristocracy ruling again. This was at a highly volatile time, like it was the time of the Romanovs going down. Yeah, pretty good stuff. So the German people, from being so abused to hopeless, they were definitely ready for what came next, with the other leader who convinced them that there's a Germany to be had that existed a while back. So can you imagine, like, that's the current of events? Does that even make sense? But you get what I'm saying. From this one queen, I find that so interesting, including this has to happen, you know, with all my videos there has to be like noise like this going on somewhere. Another very interesting thing that we are sticking at the birth act. That was the time that because she couldn't be bothered, she was so busy. The woman had 9 children to breastfeed and actually like be there for the baby in the formative years, because she had a whole empire to run with her doting husband. So she just didn't have the time. Baby bottles were invented. Why not just like give children milk from other animals? Supplement it instead of having a child latching onto you like 24/7. And because she was the queen of trends, it scaled down to like the lower middle class society of the time, who could afford such luxuries. If you are poor, you know, just have to feed your baby what you have. God is so graceful and efficient. So I'm mentioning this because this was a public health disaster, because the concept of germs and everything haikuwa imeshika that time. So people will do things like leave the milk in the bottle or never wash the bottle when they give a feeding, because this is like common practice, including some really unhygienic materials. So realizing those things now helps definitely with the understanding of hygiene, which now it blossomed in that era, by the way, and they were obsessed with cleanliness. Like the issue of soap was like invented then, like seriously. Before that, soap was either you do it or not, but after that, soap is a common part of, and I'm talking about soap in the bathroom, not soap in the kitchen. Was it there? I don't know. I'm trying to remember if my great grandmothers were washing their pots, and I don't know. I'm just having a memory of using ash. But where was I? Yeah, it blossomed in that era because of this woman. I'm not giving her all the credit. Actually, in this case, one of the very rare cases, the credit goes to her marriage with Albert, who happened to be her cousin. Good times. Good for them. Like, they have something to protect. I love it when we try to mess with the written laws that we have to abide to by Mother Nature, and then we are taught a lesson. Like when we eat something we're not supposed to eat, like like forbidden meat or something like that, and then you get a huge disease. I like that, like, and I constantly think about how we're still sticking with the back, but we're still on the Bath Act. When we get to Albert, whether we enter into the Midlife Act. Right now, like with the advancements we have in the fertility and creation department, for me it just feels like targets, like ticking time bomb, yes. To a disaster. I like to think I'm pretty ethical. What is this related to? Like, I have no idea what this is related to. Well, what was I doing? Let's just move on. So, this lovely queen finally gets the chance to live through the life that she saw her uncles living when she came to be in succession. Got her sexy cousin. Was pretty freaky about it. Albert was a golden retriever dude. That archetype, and his passions were innovation in science. So in his very lucky position where he didn't really have to do a lot of administrative work, he got into like the higher sciences, or what do we put there? How do we say? the philosophies of evolution. Through him, there's all these innovations that actually still run this society, like machines and fossil fuels. Why didn't we stick to water? I'm a huge fan. As you can tell, I'm a huge fan of this era, and I feel the perfect time for the machines was when they were using steam. Like, there's no way that couldn't have been advanced and bettered with time, and the only source of energy is steam. Like, it's literally water. But you know what, let's keep on depleting our environment. It is my chance now to cause a lot of damage. A lot of things were advanced because of Albert's contribution. if it wasn't for Albert, like if she married someone who wasn't like that, like someone who was very typical, you know, greedy and full of themselves and just plain evil, like your typical politician, we wouldn't be here. Like nothing, oh my god, including her children and what her grandchildren did. So yeah, you see why I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of that era, like so much. Also because they're trying to figure out polite society, and I'm totally for that, you know. Personally, me, I'm someone who always says my please and thank yous, and I deserve and I expect the same thing from others, you know. If I don't get it, I go beast mode. Like I honestly just like, I'm like, you want us to act like animals, so let us be animals, because at the end of the day we are animals. Oh, petty. The major reason why I like that era is because she was also the OG soft life. Like before her, let's just say because of industrialization, she will have the excesses of human comforts because they were delivered at a faster rate than they have ever been, like in the history of humanity, modern history anyway. So the best foods from the farthest lands, including tortoise soup. Like I got a tortoise. I don't know if I should say this online because I'm afraid like the wildlife service people will come for it. So that is fascinating. And as I said, she was the queen of trends. Every other person Sasa tried to like drink turtle soup because it was the end thing that they almost exterminated a species. And then people replaced it with calf brains. Can you imagine, like calf brains? Oh my god, just for trends. But you see why I like her. I like her a lot because of some stupid shit like that. Now that is real soft life, not right now. That was still the era of servants. Like if you were super rich, the only way you could really show it is by not having to do work. But now I think it's because it's more of what you have, which you can't even compare. Like if you look at Victorian, oh my god, they just say standards of houses, and then thinking about how these were built with human hands, like, and really crude pulleys, those basic lever systems, and you're like, and also land. When you're watching this Unaskiati and her the queen and her 12,000 acre estate, and you're like, what? And this is one of her properties, not the one anashikilia na nangangania, but that's what it means to be queen. No. So I think also that not having electricity and not having Chinese slave workers making that, like the fabrics and the the food. Also another thing, French hot cuisine is also another invention from this era. Not like the French weren't eating before this, but that it being the of food came from that era as well. Like if you wanted the best chefs, you hire them from that country. and foods of complete British imagination and actual exports from France that we know and mention at the top of our heads to sound sophisticated also came from that era. You know, things, and another thing, things that are now here, like the things of the average New World individual, were complete luxuries of that time. But that's how time works. Like a porcelain toilet. That era, before her, no such things. Dig a hole in the backyard or use a bucket. After her, porcelain toilets. Plumbing. Some things that are so hard to imagine right now in the present, like how to live and survive without them or with them. Those are the things that now at that time she was like the only one having it, and like her fellow peers. So you see, right now, if you're someone who would consider themselves world class by making a ratatouille, or she wouldn't eat ratatouille, that's like pure vegetables. At that time, peak rich people food was meats of all kinds, definitely, and sugars, the purely addictive things. Jelly is also an invention of that era. Also, still sticking with the French cuisine kind of thing. Also, but that is not French, that is Russian. A la Russe, created at that time as well. The method of normal eating for the rest of the world has been normal communal eating, is bring everything there and kila mtu abugie. But the invention of bringing one course in, and you can see my anger peaking, bringing one course in, having the person who does not peel a banana like a primate eat it, take it away, bring another course, invented by this lovely lady in question. So you see, this is her world. Christmas actually is the reason why I made this video, because of being fascinated by a Christmas tree. Also, guess what? Not her invention, but during her time, that's when it became popular. So I'm a big fan of knowing why, which I don't advise for anyone. Please, you live in constant agony, because the beauty of being an animal is having no idea what is going on. Like, that is the beauty of things. But me, I need to know. I need to know so that I am willing to subscribe to this channel, okay? If you enjoy film, if you enjoy history, if you enjoy analysis. So yes, everything else that you know accompanies the whole Christmas tree agenda is her invention. And I love it. And lastly, why I love the Victorian age so much. There go mentioning it again. Oh my god, will it be the MI6 that will be tracking me? So, genealogy. Not them having factual records, but them having proper records. That gets my tant. You know, for the rest of us peoples, let us blame demons and the government for who we are. But with people who have very good records of ancestry, you discover some things that might not be very good or bad, depending on the situation, that you learn about yourself. And it's that Mother Nature doesn't really have time to keep making unique individuals. So much of who you are as a person, someone else has already lived through it. Sadly, all of your quirks, all of your weaknesses, they're not really unique unless you're paving your own path. And that's why it hurts. That's why it hurts to be authentic. That's why you feel a lot of inward pressure from the outside. And having that knowledge, since majority of us are NPCs, helps a lot to navigate life, like in general. Let me just give you an example. Let me give you an above sea level iceberg. Western imperialist historical fact. There's this king who had an affair with an older woman during his marriage to a beautiful, soft, aristocratic woman. And all she had to do was suck it up and look pretty. Am I talking about the current king? No, I'm actually talking about his great-grandfather. Literally the same thing that happened like 100 years ago, happening again. Same thing. This woman was a courtesan, but she has nobility connections. I don't think that other woman got eliminated for standing in the way and almost marrying an Arab. Can you believe this? Please take a moment and imagine that dimension. Because jewel to jewel, they were giving them competition. Like, there was no way they would have not questioned the legitimacy of being the biggest and the baddest dogs. If they were running riches to riches, which you know is like standard unit of measurement, like throughout human history. So, I don't know, Princess Diana Dodi. No, Queen Diana Dodi. Like, she would have definitely risen rank to the top easily in that society. So you see how it helps with it just helps. It's the perfect blueprint. Not stories, made up stories about Middle Eastern communities that our, personally speaking, my people are afflicted by. This episode is so weird. I hope I'm just sticking to topic, and I hope you are enjoying it. Are you enjoying it? If you're enjoying it and you haven't liked, I don't know. But if you've liked, thank you. Like, sikupe pressure. And comment as well. Comment something. Oh my god, even if you're using your spam account. People that are interested in film, history, analysis, and stamina. Hizo tu, mimi sijui mambo mengine. So you see, and I think maybe we should now like consider doing that like for the generations to come, like understand. I'm speaking maybe definitely as I do this, it's usually to help me self-reflect. Like I also need to understand myself more. And this is my favorite current mode of self-expression. We're almost nearing my favorite part. Do you know? If you're my beloved viewer, you know what I'm talking about. I think I should end this video by saying I don't condone imperialism, because up to this moment it is siphoning resources from my country and very many others. But I'm also very disenchanted by our governments. So I'm not one to say drop them, let them go back to the people, because as it is right now, the way we have designed our leadership, they will do nothing but pocket it for themselves. Like that's how I feel even about like this ideologies, like it's the rich. Yes, you will do tax reforms, but that money essentially won't really like get to the bottom. Let us not kid ourselves. Am I being pessimistic? I believe in democracy, but is belief enough? No. There is human nature, and that is why you will never catch me like dissing politicians, especially my politicians, because they are 100% a reflection of the people. So if my people really didn't want to suffer, they really wouldn't be causing suffering. It's as simple as that, really. It's really as simple as that. If you want the rest of your community to advance, you will advance as well. If you don't want the rest of your community to advance, you won't advance. Like it's as simple as that. But the biggest esoteric lessons, yeah, it will definitely just go into the pockets of the politicals. So let them keep it. Let the numbers rack so that we know who we are coming for in the revolution. That's so dumb. But my favorite part of the video, I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, if you watched all this. And shit, by the way, I almost forgot something so important. For the next video, since we are recapping the year, I have to I have found answers to some questions I have asked in the previous video that I felt were a sign of my ignorance. But now, glory to God, my ignorance has been lifted like wool over the eyes. And I would like to talk about it in the upcoming video. And also, so as to buy time, I am thinking of doing anonymous question tag. So if you follow my page, if you've liked this video and you'd like to actually communicate with me, this not being a one-way communication anymore, you can find me on Instagram. I really don't have any other account. It's just Instagram. So YouTube or Instagram, like I would never be anywhere else. As Samina Minx. Here it is, Samina Minx. On my stories, I will be featuring the question tag. So you can come, from here to there and ask me anything. I will prefer philosophical questions, but you have your rights as a member of the public to ask questions, personal questions, but it all depends on what I want to answer. So just ask. The more interesting and entertaining the question is, the better for me, because I love being entertained and I love being intellectually stimulated. So stimulate me. There are so many. I'm budding into my May West. I'll keep the link on my stories here, and now also the link being on my Instagram stories. This is the account. I hear people buy views and followers. Sijafika hiyo level. I'm still happy with this being just my hobby, But the problem is with the small number. People think that it's not interesting or entertaining. But who am I to tell people what is interesting and entertaining? Personally, if I find people who find me interesting and entertaining, those are my kind of people. But I think that's how reality works. So bye. You already know part of what the next episode is because you are included. Feel free and understand it's anonymous, so I wouldn't know. Unless I know it from our own personal discussion, so I understand, I continue this thread. But besides that, also, oh my god, also this gives you a chance to participate in telling me what to do. If you have any particular era, film era or film genre or vintage actor or actress that you would like me to talk about, or you would like me to expound on, or would like to share the knowledge with you, because that's my kink. So besides recapping some things that I had no clue about this 2023, I'm also going to be answering questions from you, my beloved viewer. You can also ask rhetorical questions. Use this link. That is my Instagram page. Please follow me there and get the link on my stories. I would love it. I would love to hear from you, because also I need feedback to be better, to do better, because pick me, choose me, love me. JK. For the people that love me, they love me. For the people who don't, they don't. It's really as simple as that. And if you do, you mean everything to me. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next episode. If you'd like to interact with me, you can use definitely the stories of Hapapi and Nitaikayo link, so that I get the questions. And be very interested or interested on the opinions of the people who like me, the people who could get to this point. Bye. See you. A nice way to end the video. Till next time.